Welcome back to the deep dive. So I think we've all had that experience, right? You walk into one of those huge cosmetic superstores.
Oh, absolutely. The wall of product.
Exactly, wall-to-wall products.
Yeah.
And you just feel, well, completely overwhelmed. You're not alone in that. The thing is, the beauty retail space is just so competitive now.
Intensely.
And what makes one store genuinely successful or, the right fit for you, it's not just about the cheapest price anymore.
No, or the biggest celebrity name attached to it.
So our mission today is really to cut through all that noise. We've been looking at this comprehensive buyer's guide.
Yeah.
And it lays out a really powerful, kind of actionable framework for how to evaluate these retail giants.
Yeah, and this is for everyone, whether you're a shopper, a brand looking for a partner, or even another retailer.
It's your shortcut to clarity.
Exactly. This analysis really forces you to look beneath the surface. We're moving way past just the pretty packaging. We're talking about the store's entire operational ecosystem.
What do you mean by that?
Things like its ability to launch its own private label lines or the tiny details of its supply chain transparency. The whole source material really hinges on this one idea, that breadth and transparency are the first signals of a trustworthy cosmetic destination.
So if a store can't show you its work, you shouldn't trust the final product.
That's the bottom line.
It's a seriously high standard. Luckily, this guide gives us the tools to measure it. We're going to unpack this 7 core criteria framework. It covers everything: product assortment, inclusive shade coverage, clean beauty standards, pricing, omni-channel, in-store services, and finally, sustainability and ethics. Okay, let's unpack this, starting with the product itself. Assortment breadth. When we talk about breadth, we don't just mean a messy warehouse full of stuff, right? What does strategic breadth actually signal to a savvy shopper?
It signals maturity and real strategic intent. True breadth means covering the whole landscape of beauty.
The full spectrum.
The full spectrum, from, your essential cost-effective drugstore lines all the way up to the really high-end prestige products. But, and this is key, it also means making space for niche indie labels and those regional exclusives that might appeal to a more local customer.
So it's not just about volume. It's about covering all the price points, all the different types. But there's a risk there, isn't there? If you stock everything, you could just overwhelm people. The source mentioned catalog fatigue.
That's the one. And that's where curation comes in. Retailers have to manage all those tiers without causing that fatigue.
How do they do that?
Well, the best ones use smart digital filtering online and really clear merchandising in the store. For a brand, seeing that kind of managed catalog signals that the retailer knows what it's doing. It shows they can handle new partnerships without just, drowning them in noise.
That makes perfect sense. Okay, let's pivot to what the guy calls a market mandate, not just a metric. Inclusive shade range. This is so much more than a marketing slogan now.
Oh, it has to be.
So what are the specific technical details we should be demanding from a retailer here?
It's all about deep data governance. A truly inclusive store ensures coverage across foundations, yes, but also concealers and lip products.
Not just foundation.
Not just foundation, which is where a lot of brands stop. This requires transparent shade mapping data, clear undertone metadata. Is it cool, warm, neutral? And shade names that actually map to standard color systems.
That level of detail is what stops you from ordering online and getting something completely wrong.
It prevents that friction. And the guide also mentions independent validation.
Right, which is crucial.
It is. Things like independent testing panels and constant consumer feedback loops. They provide that unbiased validation of shade accuracy across all demographics. If a store isn't seeking that out, they're just relying on their own assumptions.
So how does this level of accuracy connect to the digital experience? Because that's where so many of these purchases fall apart.
Omnichannel tools are absolutely critical here. All those digital tools, the shade finders, the swatch simulations, the virtual try-ons, they have to reflect true shade fidelity. They have to be accurate. If that digital swatch is misleading, the customer has to make a return, and that costs everyone time, money, and confidence.
Speaking of things that are critical but often very confusing, let's move on to clean beauty and safety policies. It can feel like clean is the Wild West of definitions.
It really can be. In this framework, though, clean beauty really emphasizes radical transparency. It's about detailed ingredient disclosures and the clear avoidance of controversial additives.
So not necessarily all additives.
No, but the ones that have high public concern or are known irritants. Shoppers are highly sensitive to fragrance, to allergens.
So how does a store earn real trust here, beyond just slapping a clean sticker on the shelf?
By publishing clear, easy-to-find safety policies, by offering third-party ingredient disclosures, and providing access to formulation certifications or audit results. And what's fascinating is the connection the guide makes between clean beauty and inclusivity.
Ah, right. I saw that. They can't be separate issues.
They cannot. A clean beauty line must not sacrifice performance or shade inclusivity.
So if you develop a gentle, clean formula, you have to make sure it still performs perfectly across every skin tone.
Exactly. It's a huge R&D challenge. A gentle formula that works across a wide shade spectrum needs very specific testing with diverse user panels. Otherwise, your safety rules might accidentally exclude a whole group of customers.
And we should probably emphasize the level of detail we're talking about for transparency. It's not a quick summary.
No, not at all. We're talking granular information. Per product ingredient lists, allergen info, safety data sheets where it's relevant. And the staff on the floor need to be trained to discuss these things. They need to be able to explain the difference between a synthetic fragrance and a natural extract and provide samples so customers can test for sensitivities.
All right, let's get to the money talk. Pricing, promotions, and loyalty value, the third leg of the stool. We need signals here that benefit the frequent buyer, but also uphold the integrity of the brands.
Right, and this brings up a big question. How do you drive value without cheapening the product? The guide points to a few key areas. One is transparent price matching policies.
And those have to be applied consistently.
Consistently, across all brands, including the store's own private label stuff.
What about all the confusing coupon stacking rules?
The rules have to be defined clearly, and importantly, they have to apply uniformly across inclusive lines to avoid any unintentional bias in the discounts.
I found the warning about really aggressive promotions pretty interesting. It sounds like chasing a deep discount can actually carry a hidden risk.
It absolutely can. The source gives a very clear warning here. Be mindful of those too good to be true promotions or those huge limited edition sets. They can sometimes invite counterfeit risks.
Also,
Well, if a retailer is liquidating product too quickly or through unofficial channels, it creates a secondary market where fakes can pop up. So the store has to provide strong authenticity signals, verifiable serial numbers, purchase assurances, things like that. It's a key safeguard.
let's transition to omnichannel capabilities. You mentioned this before, but it's so much more than just having an app.
It's fundamentally about eliminating friction. The core signals of excellence here are things like real-time online stock visibility.
So you know if the lipstick shade you want is actually in the store before you go.
Exactly. And a reliable BOPIS, buy online, pick up in store.
Which everyone just expects now.
Everyone expects it. And it's not just for customer convenience. It lets retailers use their stores as mini distribution hubs. It cuts down on delivery costs and helps with inventory control.
What are the really crucial digital tools that drive conversion, the ones that really make a difference?
It's the data connection. We're looking for sophisticated tools like highly accurate shade finders, virtual try-ons that actually work, transparent order tracking, and crucially, all of these tools need to be integrated with your loyalty profile. They should learn from your past purchases to create a data-driven experience that speeds up your decision-making.
You know, despite all this focus on digital, the guide is very clear that the physical store experience still matters a lot.
Intensely. In-store services are a huge differentiator.
So what makes her a great physical experience?
It really boils down to 3 pillars: hygiene, expertise, and personalized service. Stores have to prioritize hygienic testers. That is non-negotiable now. Provide privacy-compliant samples, and have staff who can deliver tailored consultations.
And the staffing model itself needs to be flexible, right?
Yes, the guide points to 2 different models running at the same time. You need appointment-based services for complex, high-value things like a bridal makeup consultation. And then you need staff available for walk-ins who just need a quick recommendation. You need robust staffing for both.
And that expertise piece connects right back to safety and shade matching.
Absolutely. The staff need continuous, up-to-date training. They have to be able to confidently discuss ingredient safety, formulation differences, all of it. They are the final line of defense against a bad customer experience.
Finally, let's cover sustainability and ethics, which the source calls increasingly non-negotiable.
This is where a store's governance becomes really visible. Shoppers should look for strong, auditable signals. We're talking about recognized cruelty-free certifications, like Leaping Bunny or Cruelty-Free International, displayed right there on the package or the website.
Easy to find.
Has to be. And beyond animal testing, what about the supply chain? Stores need to show clear efforts in using recycled packaging and have robust end-of-life programs like refill stations or take-back schemes for empties. But the highest signal of good governance is supply chain transparency through third-party audits.
And what do those auditors look for?
Everything, from the ethical sourcing of raw materials like mica or palm oil to fair labor practices in the factories, that's the ultimate assurance of commitment.
So we've covered 7 really complex criteria. What does this all mean for someone standing in the aisle just trying to make a practical decision?
Well, the source gives a clear 7-step rubric to help structure your search. First, identify your core needs. Is it product range, shade inclusivity, or ingredient safety? Second, map your local stores to these 7 criteria. Third, review their policies on things like sustainability and returns. 4, evaluate their omnichannel and in-store game. 5, compare the total cost and loyalty benefits. 6, validate their authenticity signals. And finally, 7, decide and test with a small purchase first.
And the power of this is in the prioritization, right? The God gives these great scenarios that show the perfect store really changes based on what you need.
It does. Take scenario A, an urban market with high shade diversity demand. Here, the store has to prioritize inclusive shade coverage above all else. They need a broad assortment of prestige and indie brands and really robust hygienic tester programs.
Okay, and what about the budget-conscious shopper?
That's scenario B, a price-sensitive suburban market. Here, the focus shifts to loyalty value, to transparent price-matching policies and compelling bundles. Those bundles are strategic, you see. They pair popular products with the store's own private label items to keep the value high.
And for the last one, what if you're a small brand looking for a partner?
That's scenario C, a growth stage brand launching a private label. They should partner with stores that are operationally agile. That means fast go-to-market speed, formulation flexibility, and packaging customization that aligns with sustainability. Here, the store is judged on its speed and ability to execute.
It really emphasizes that the perfect cosmetic superstore is entirely relative. It just depends on what you're prioritizing.
Exactly. The retail landscape has matured. It's not just about selling products anymore. It's about providing a verifiable ecosystem of trust.
And that brings us to the end of our deep dive. We've gone from, just a general curiosity about a cosmetic store to having this detailed 7-point rubric to judge its trustworthiness, its value, and its ethics.
I think the biggest takeaway really is that governance and transparency, from the technical stuff like shade mapping all the way to counterfeit prevention, are just inseparable from a modern store's value proposition.
A final thought for you to mull over as you look at your local options. The guide repeatedly mentioned the importance of regional and local considerations. Things like featuring local brands, customized promotions, community engagement. As you assess your next purchase, just consider how much that store's local engagement reflects its commitment to your specific community and needs. That engagement might just be the truest sign of trust you can find.